Hi Sam, are you working on planning for your course for next semester?
Hi, Maria. Yes, I'm working on trying to include this idea of the 21st century or global competencies. I know that it's important for students to be engaging with curriculum that prepares them to work in the 21st century. And I have this book, but I'm not sure how to put it into practice.
Hmm, I see what you mean. Let's start with what we mean by developing global competencies. I have read that as educators, we have a key role in building a teaching environment where students can develop deeper understandings. But I've also read that this means we have to try some new teaching practices.
Part of this means that students are not just going to learn from us or a textbook. They're going to be finding new sources of information and kind of remixing it to create new knowledge. This means there will be less of the teacher directing the learning and more of the students working alongside the teacher.
So, the students are doing most of the work in class and we're guiding them? Makes sense. I also think we need to focus on technology because the world runs on technology today. Technology can help students learn about ideas and concepts in more depth.
The thing is, technology's power in the classroom depends on how it is used. There are ways to use technology that has great benefits to learning.
I agree, Sam. Technology is effective only when it helps us to get the students more involved in seeking content that is relevant to them. Technology should also help us make connections between what students are learning in school and what's happening in real life. And let's not forget, they need to develop skills to work online with people all over the globe.
Right now, the vision for Ontario is that we need to change how teaching and learning happens. Students need to develop the knowledge, skills, and characteristics to be engaged and informed citizens. Our role is less about telling them and more about guiding them to learn how to learn.
When the students are in the working world, they will not have someone else to tell them every step of their thinking. We need to guide students, but also push them to build their own skills in solving problems and working together.
That means more group work and helping them work together.
We also can't forget about assessment. We need to help the students learn to assess their own work and to think about their own thinking.
These are pretty big changes for us as the instructors. How do we do this?
Well, one way we can start is to think about the global competencies when we're building our courses and our assessments. The six competencies are critical thinking and problem solving, innovation, creativity, and entrepreneurship, listening to learn or self aware and self directed learning, collaboration, communication, and global citizenship.
Okay, so let's take a look at each one. We need to get students working on meaningful, real life, and complex problems. But the students also need to come up with ideas that they want to know more about. So students need to know how to problem solve, design projects and manage them, and evaluate them. This is part of being self-directed learners.
So, this means that we also want our students to be innovative thinkers. They need to take risks in their learning and try out new ideas. Maybe we should also encourage them to look into their communities to find research projects. Let's encourage them to think like real entrepreneurs.
If they are self-directed learners, they also need to consider how well they're doing. One of the newer skills is metacognition, which is really about asking them to think about how they are learning and how they are doing. We want them to become good at reflection and self-assessments and figuring out when and how they need to redirect their learning. Also, peer assessment lets students help other students figure out how well they are doing.
Yes, I see what you mean. We can encourage them to do more self assessment and rely less on us for all of the assessment. We also want them to be better collaborators. If they are working together in groups and with us to co construct meaning, they also need to reflect on how well they're working in groups and their emotional intelligence, so to speak. They can take a different role on teams, both here and globally, and also learn to manage conflicts while creating and consuming together.
By working with many different people, all of us, including students, learn to communicate effectively. We have to decide collaboratively what questions to ask. We learn how to listen to all points of view while still advocating for our ideas. We also learn how to use a variety of media and digital tools to communicate our ideas.
While the students are learning all of these competencies, so are the instructors. Hopefully, while we're learning, we can also learn to make a difference. We need the next generation to be responsible and accountable for decisions that impact society and the environment.
It seems to me that, as you and I are collaborating today, this is a model for our students. Based on our discussions, we are engaging in deeper learning.
I did not realize it, but we needed multiple skills for this course planning conversation today. We were problem solving and using our interpersonal skills to make this conversation happen.
If we can model this for our students, we can show them how to do it for their own learning. Okay, let's move back to the planning stage. How are we going to adjust these courses so that students are doing more of the learning work and we are guiding them?
I think we just need to be critical thinkers as instructors. We need perhaps to shake up or disrupt the model of teaching we have been using. We need to change our teaching practices so that students are actively building these real-life work skills and these global competencies.
Let's get to it!